Hello everyone, welcome to the King Arthur's School Parent Forum on Home Learning and Study Skills. My name's Laura Howell, I'm the Assistant Head Teacher for Teaching and Learning at King Arthur's, and the purpose of today's recorded session is to catch you up on improvements and changes to the Home Learning programme for the academic year 2025-2026. The aims and objectives of today's session are to inform you about some changes that we have made to how home learning will be set in both Key Stage 3 and Key Stage 4 for the coming year, and also to provide some guidance and support about how parents and carers can ensure that their pupils are engaging with home learning effectively. Before we begin, the value of home learning has often been debated, and there are some people who feel very strongly about whether or not students, particularly younger students, should be made to complete home learning. However, the research and academic data on this topic is very clear. Home learning, when set accurately and provided with feedback, can accelerate progress by as much as 5 months per child, according to the Education Endowment Foundation. Not only does it encourage our students to perform at their very best academically, it also supports self-regulation and planning, two skills that are vital when it comes to employability and also to preparing for assessments and further education. Finally, we encourage home learning because it ensures retention of knowledge. One of the things that we are constantly encouraging our students is to make sure that the things that they learn are being retained in their long-term memory using something known as retrieval practice. The more a child repeats things that they learn or discusses it with another or teaches it to someone else, the more likely they are to remember it. And over time, an increased bank of knowledge improves our brain capacity and our cognitive function. You will remember that in the last academic year, we sent out a parent forum asking for some feedback about our current home learning policy. And according to our policy of You Said We Did, we are updating you on some changes that we have made based on the parent views. The first comment from many parents was that home learning contained too much screen time. As a result, we have made a real effort this year to streamline our provision so that it includes less online work to support student well-being and also to ensure that they have time to recover after a long day at school. Secondly, parents commented that tracking home learning completion can be tricky as a parent due to the various platforms that we use to set and complete home learning. On the back of this, we have moved Key Stage 4 home learning to paper-based booklets in almost all subjects, and we will be doing the same in 2025-26 for Key Stage 3. Hopefully, this will allow you as a parent or carer to be more clear about what home learning has actually been completed and use Google Classroom as a way to monitor what's been set and the task instructions only. Finally, home learning in some subjects was discussed as being not fit for purpose, and there were many reasons for this. In some cases, parents and carers felt that there were certain subjects on our curriculum that were not appropriate subjects in which students should be completing home learning. Secondly, we also recognised that in some department areas, home learning was being set sporadically, and therefore it was difficult for students to stay on top of their completion. The way that we have chosen to deal with this academic year is that rather than asking tutors to track home learning, we are returning the completion and monitoring of home learning to subject teachers. This means that subject teachers have an overall idea of what a quality piece of good home learning looks like, and also can retain overall knowledge of how much home learning is being completed and when there may need to be an intervention. Furthermore, we have changed how our creative subjects will be setting their home learning, and we'll discuss this more in the next section. We hope that parents and carers recognise that this is us ensuring that we are listening to your views and feedback and making sure that we are doing what is right and what is best for our students. So for Key Stage 3 home learning for this year, you can see the home learning timetable attached, and it has also been hyperlinked onto the home learning section of the King Arthur School website. For English and Humanities, tasks will be set weekly at a time of around 30 minutes per task, and they will be linked to knowledge organisers. Students will be given a set of knowledge organisers in a booklet every term and a bespoke document wallet in which to keep it alongside their planner and any other learning materials like their home learning book. We are hopeful that what this will mean is that the students are taking responsibility for their own home learning, but also that they have all of the relevant materials that they need to complete any task. We recognise that in some cases, students might be moving between different households during the week, and therefore some things can easily get lost or left behind, and having it all together in one place should make this much easier. We have reflected, as I have previously said, on parent comments about screen time and how damaging this can be for children, and so the English and Humanities departments will be making an effort to limit the amount of screen time required to complete home learning and moving to more paper-based tasks. We are also, in these subject areas, basing our learning around the key study skills, and this will be embedded in a bespoke tutor time session known as study skills, which we will discuss later on. As I've previously said, home learning in Key Stage 3 will now be marked and monitored by teachers rather than tutors, which we are hopeful will mean that students will be rewarded for timely completion and high quality work. In science and maths, the decision has been taken to keep the online portals that have previously been used. They will still set weekly tasks of 30 minutes, but science will use the Seneca learning platform and maths will continue to use Sparks Maths. There are many reasons for this, often related to data analysis and the ability to set individual tasks to each student based on their strengths and weaknesses. However, if you have any questions or concerns about this, please reach out to the Head of Science, Mr. Conradi, or the Head of Maths, Mrs. Southern. A change for 2025-26 is how we will be setting Creatives home learning. Lots of parents and carers felt that in some subjects, setting Creatives tasks was not an appropriate piece of home learning and that it didn't necessarily link to the skills or tasks that were expected in that subject. As a result, we have moved to half-termly project-based learning in the creative subjects that links into house competitions and helps to build coursework-style project skills where students are managing their time over a longer period. For example, students may be asked to complete a cooking challenge or design an app of their choice, maybe take a photograph and enter in a photography competition or complete a fitness challenge. Our main aim with these is to encourage students to engage more widely in these creative pursuits, ensuring that they have a spark for the subject, enjoyment, and also that they are able to use to develop their enjoyments outside of the classroom. In Key Stage 4, so Year 10 and 11, we have already made the move to home learning booklets for each subject, again with the exception of maths, which use Sparks, and science, which will use Seneca. We have already seen a huge improvement in the completion of home learning in our Year 10 students who are moving into Year 11 as a result of the use of these home learning booklets, and we are very hopeful that this trend will continue into the next academic year. Home learning booklets have knowledge organisers provided at the front of each booklet, which will mean that students can, again, carry the booklets around between households or complete them anywhere. There is also a clear timetable on the front that tells you which date each task is due on. We recognise that for those students who have sporting commitments, for example, or who engage in cadets and other forces work outside of school, that sometimes being able to manage your home learning by completing more than one task at a time so that you can get ahead is very valuable. Just like in Key Stage 3, the Key Stage 4 home learning is monitored by the class teacher and is given feedback in class. And by the end of the year, the students have got 6 booklets full of valuable revision and learning material that will help them to prepare for PPEs and the final GCSE exams. One of the new things that is being introduced into this academic year is our new study skills focus. Every tutor group in years 7 to 10 will have 1 session per week in tutor time of study skills. This is a 30-minute activity where students are specifically learning how to revise and how to learn while overlaying core subjects and content of PSHE, current affairs and the science of learning. We have designed these sessions to be followed the next day by an assembly so that discussions can be had around what the students have learned, and also to overlap with the home learning that is being set in English, history, geography, ethics and philosophy, and modern foreign languages. Our aim is always to build a lifelong love of learning, but also to ensure that students are equipped with the skills that they need to prepare effectively for their summative examinations in GCSE. Our main hope is that by doing things this way, we will be reducing the amount of cognitive load on our students when they get to GCSE. Study skills will cover the following 5 revision skills in the first academic year. So we will cover how to make effective notes, how to mind map, how to make flashcards and the different ways that you use them, memory techniques, and how to effectively use past questions as part of revision time. Ultimately, many parents will be asking how they can be supporting at home. One of the most important things that parents and carers can be doing to ensure that their students are engaging with home learning is to have discussion and debate in the home about what's being completed for home learning and what students have learned. Showing an interest in tasks and activities is one of the main ways to increase participation. Secondly, it's often the case that students discuss not having a suitable working space at home as a barrier to completing home learning. It may be the case that the working space where students complete their home learning is in a central area of the home. However, if there is a quiet area that students can have as a designated workspace, then this is often very helpful. Perhaps display the home learning timetables on the fridge or somewhere in the kitchen on a pinboard so that you can be having regular discussion about what's due at different times and whether or not it's been completed. And ultimately, if you have any concerns at all, please do contact your student's teacher or their tutor if there is a wider pastoral issue regarding home learning. I hope that you have found this useful. Thank you for engaging and supporting all of our students with their completion of home learning and ensuring their academic success in the future. If you have any further questions at all about the Study Skills programme or about completion of home learning, please do not hesitate to contact me at school. Thank you.